The United States and the Philippines have said they're considering new coronavirus restrictions on travellers from China after Beijing announced it would reopen its borders next month. Japan, India and Malaysia have already said they'll tighten restrictions on arrivals from China amid concerns about a surge in cases and a lack of transparency from the Chinese government. Our diplomatic correspondent Paul Adams reports.
From the world's most populous nation, alarming scenes. China's hospitals are overwhelmed. COVID infections soaring. The country's abrupt decision to dismantle much of its strict COVID regime apparently yielding terrifying results. Wards full of desperately ill people. Outside this hospital in Chengdu, a queue for emergency services. Government officials say the situation is under control. That's not what these pictures suggest. At the Dongjiao funeral home, one of the city's biggest, more evidence of the scale of the crisis. One funeral procession after another. Workers here say they're so busy they have no time to eat. From 30 to 50 services a day, up to around 200. COVID mostly to blame. And yet China is opening up, relaxing rules for inbound travellers and raising the prospect of its own citizens, once again, being able to go abroad. Welcome news for travel companies after 3 bleak years.
Since this morning, we've had lots of inquiries from our customers. They're asking whether they can travel abroad normally again, whether they'll need to quarantine on their return, and when international tourism will return.
But with some countries already adopting extra travel requirements for Chinese visitors, and the United States citing a lack of transparent data, officials in Beijing reject any suggestion that China has lost control.
The argument you mentioned is a bias-smear campaign and political manipulation with a hidden agenda, which does not stand up to scrutiny of facts and runs counter to the truth.
After last month's nationwide protests, this is the image China wants to project of a country finally turning its back on the virus and on its own draconian response. But China's long, hard battle with COVID is far from over. Paul Adams, BBC News.